Do you struggle with ye old, I know I should, but I just don't feel like it? Hi, my name is Coach Rati Gorfine, and my business is Creative Calling Coaching. And I help entrepreneurs, artists, and other divergent thinkers focus so that they can grab the focus of others, get seen, and make money doing what they love. And today I'm going to talk about the all important distinction between how you feel and what you want. But first, I want to direct your attention to the description of this video, where there's a link to schedule an intake for a consultation regarding the group program I'll be launching on June 11th. That's in a couple weeks, called The Passion to Profit Project. I'll get more into that later. If you want to hear about it, bookmark this video. Meanwhile, like the page, subscribe to my YouTube channel here, and now let's get on with it. So, I wasn't sure whether to talk about this, but I am haunted by the ghosts of clients who've ghosted. I was looking at some of the literature on retention of clients and therapy patients, and it was interesting to hear the correlation between homework and people who stay the course of a program. And as you may not be surprised to hear, usually people who don't do the homework, or in the case of a coaching session, the agreed upon actions for a given week or for a given program, they tend to drop out. There tends to be attrition. And I've noticed one thing in common with people who I've worked with who end up going AWOL, and it's usually preceded by a consistent lack of follow through. And there are usually excuses. Well, when it came time to do it, it didn't really seem right, or something else happened and I had to take care of that, or I just couldn't. I just didn't feel like it. Now, sometimes this is because the actions that have been designed end up revealing something about the actual goal that's been identified on the person's part. They may discover it's something they don't actually want. And in cases like this, usually through the course of coaching, we get clearer about what is actually meaningful. And then the goals constructed in coaching start happening. And the outcome, of course, is positive. But then there are folks who just are slaves to how they feel. And they can't quite make that distinction between how they feel at any given moment and what they want. If you can't make that distinction, it's pretty hard to stick to anything, not even a decision. Because one day you'll decide on a certain course of action, you wake up and you feel differently, or you heard something and you switch courses. That's like deciding that you don't know which tram to take up the mountain. You decide on one, but then you jump off, and that takes off. You get on another, and then you jump out. You're never going to get up the mountain. Okay. Fast forward to successful clients. Successful clients tend to be very accountable. They tend to do what they say. They're really interested in learning how not to overpromise and underdeliver. They're usually introspective and willing to be honest with themselves and not make up excuses. Nobody's perfect, but on the whole, there's a lot less of this kind of victim mentality of I couldn't get it done for one reason or another. So I think that's important. And the thing that is really at the crux of this is learning to recognize when your feelings are derailing you. Feelings are a barometer of sorts. You know, they let you know when you're hitting up against resistance, which is what not feeling like doing something is. They are not the basis for judgment calls. As a matter of fact, there is a book called The Tools by Barry Stutz. Phil Stutz and Barry Michaels. And the very first tool that they teach is bring it on. And I love this tool. Basically, when you're in a situation where you have to encounter stimulus, maybe it's feedback from someone, maybe it's something you don't feel like doing, whatever it is, instead of going into your resistance, you psychologically say, bring it on. You can even envision the encounter or the task as washing over you and allowing yourself to move through the resistance like a cloud. You actually have to move into your fear and your resistance. The thing about feelings also is you're not going to feel like doing what you're afraid of. And you may have heard me say, perhaps callously, I don't know, in the past, people have exactly the success they're ready for, that they're willing to allow to have happen. And that is because the extent of the success you are allowing in your life is proportionate to the degree of fear you are willing to step into and discomfort you are willing to step into and move through. If comfort is success for you on an unconscious level, you're not going to get very far with any goal. So that's the issue I wanted to explore today, which brings me back to what I wanted to talk about, which is the group I'm starting on June 11th. Other than what I wanted to talk about today, which was making the distinction between how you feel and what you want. This group is designed to help you stay grounded in that distinction and also to move through the process of completing a goal in a supportive community. I love group coaching. When I first became a coach, I didn't know that's what I was doing. I had just moved out of an ashram back in the early 80s. And I had moved in there because I had become so disillusioned with life. And one of the many things I learned living in this spiritual community was that company is stronger than will. That if you do most things in life, it's with the help of someone else. It's with the help of some mentorship or community. So I started forming groups around myself. People would come to these little groups or success teams, as Barbara Sher would call them, with very specific goals in mind. And we would help each other achieve them, whether we felt like it or not. And when we didn't feel like it, we could put that out there and there would be other people to champion us on. And people started achieving wonderful results, which is when I decided to put my shingle out and that maybe I should start charging for this, right? I've since become a coach with a very full private practice, but I'm excited to be at a place again now when I can make my coaching accessible to more people at a more affordable price point, with the added benefit of that kind of community. So the group is called the Passion to Profit Project, which describes exactly what it is, how to take your passion and mold it into the breadwinner of your life, the breadwinning activity in your life. And it's a project. It's a 3-month commitment. It starts June 11th. We're going to be meeting the first 3 Fridays of the month, June, July, and August. And actually not the very first 3 Fridays, because it'll start on June 11th, like I said. But we'll meet at noon on Fridays. So you'll still have time to take off for the weekend since it's the summer. And if this is interesting to you, click the link above and schedule a time for you and I to talk to see whether this is a good fit. I'd love to have you. And thank you again for listening. I'm here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You'll see me again on Thursdays at 5 o'clock Eastern. If this is interesting to you, I hope you will share it. If you know someone who might be a good fit for the group, please also share this video and feel free to tell them about it and what you heard. And I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.